ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Abyssal City. In the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player from the team FXO Esports. It's Tyr. Now, his opponent down here in the bottom right-hand corner is our blue Zerg player from not TSL anymore. I almost said it because I saw the tag. It's Evil Genius's Revival. Want to let you guys know we're changing up our programming schedule for the next couple of months. We had planned to do IPTL Premier Division 2 days a week, Contender Division 2 days a week, and the normal Fight Club, of course. We're actually going to stretch out the IPTL season, so we're going to have each week of broadcast is going to be Monday, Fight Club, as always. Then we're going to have Premier Division on Tuesdays, Contender Division on Wednesdays, and then some qualifier action on most Thursdays and Fridays. Reason being, we are going to do the IPTL finals at IPL 6 live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Pretty exciting stuff. And it's completely worthy because these players, I mean, they're just so good. They compete in all these events over the course of quite a span of time. And you just want to see a finals that is truly deserving, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for that, man.
In a strange sort of way, even though I think IM versus Startail, you know, obviously that's a matchup. That is incredible.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a one-sided affair in the IPTL Season 1 finals. So
it was funny, yeah.
Of all the ones that could have been live, I'm glad it wasn't that one, I suppose.
Would have been a little bit of a buzzkill.
Yeah. Those are always fun when it comes out. Like, if it's an all-kill, it has a lot of significance attached to it. Like, if, you know, you would come out and, like, Parting would stand up and all-kill, I don't know who
you
know,
what
what divisions are going to be against each other.
No,
but
is it going to happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But a 5-1 is just kind of, all right. They were crushed.
All right. So, and then with when it's like the win's like halfway through, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
You wonder if there's going to be a rally, but then someone else just comes in and, well, you know, they get their broom and they get their dustpan. Revival, though. Oh, he gets the probe. I got my faith in my play him guy.
Well, Revival kills the probe. He did, of course, have to produce a...
Such a candid way to say it.
He kills the probe, but he was forced to create a queen and a couple of Zerglings before that got down. So it is quite delayed, although you never want to lose the probe. You want to be able to cycle it back in and check on the third, or jump back in and make sure nothing cheesy is hitting you as far as like a big roach rush with gas coming up.
Oh, definitely. Cannon is now on the way, by the way, for Tyr. On the way, by the way. I'm never going to use that one again. Nexus is 3/4 of the way done, and he has yet to drop his gases in his main base. We'll be doing so in just a minute here, so we actually see 1 and 2 going down.
All right, so nothing really looking weird from these guys yet. Expect to see...
What?
That was weird.
That was cool. Nothing really weird going on from the...
Nexus cancel.
No!
That was a not intentional Nexus cancel. Oh, God. I was like, okay, where are there 5 gates coming up somewhere? Where are they? And then, no, that was actually just an accident. Oh, God.
I mean, at that point, you almost want to drop 5 gateways because
that's
now,
a disaster.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. It'd be really funny, though, if Revival saw the... I didn't hear him.
If he saw the Nexus cancel?
If he saw the Nexus cancel and is, like, scrambling now, oh, God, okay, just get units up, And then Tyr ends up eking an advantage. But, oh, that's a disaster.
Yeah, it actually makes it so much worse that Revival didn't see the Nexus cancel. That's a great point.
All right. Well, I'm not...
It would have been a mind game, honestly.
Right.
It would have been like, great success.
And now he sees how far delayed this is. This was the Nexus first, by the way. Nexus first coming up, and then other structures followed it.
And then,
oof,
hey man, for all we know, no, never
no,
mind.
there's nothing that follows that statement that makes logical sense here in this game.
So Probe is going to scout the third. I'm actually really happy to see that Tyr's not too shaken up from that.
Yeah.
At least not visibly shaken up.
At this point,
he's actually foaming at the mouth in his computer, but
he's
he's still playing perfect StarCraft.
Tyr, though, he's putting down his robotics facility. This could very easily be an Immortal Sentry all-in after this. In fact, I think that's likely because, one, we're on Abyssal City. If you take control of the high ground right here and, you know, zone out with a couple of force fields, you're actually in a very good spot. Mortal Sentry all-in, very powerful in that regard. 2, though, he doesn't need to overproduce a ton of economy in order to make an Immortal Sentry all-in work. And he's only got his third gas coming up. A lot of signs pointing towards an Immortal Sentry all-in.
And 1 gateway. 2 gateways plus 1. He should be starting an Immortal here in a moment. He's pulled a bunch of gas. No.
Well, he's behind on resources.
Got an observer, actually.
He's behind on resources. I think we may still see an Immortal after this. I don't know, man. It's if he decides to just try and macro his way out of this, it's a little bit rough because Revival is going to have just a monster amount of forces on him. I mean, he essentially had a 100-second advantage now on his hatchery. That's huge. And he killed the probe at the beginning.
How far was the Nexus completed when it was canceled?
About 85%.
Damn.
Yeah, because we were talking about the cannon just about ready to pop up, and after a Nexus first, don't forget, you have the Forge, which takes, what, 45 seconds, 50 seconds, something like that to pop up. Oh, actually, I think it's a little shorter.
This
45
is a
seconds.
super interesting build, though, because, I mean, he's got a Warp Prism on the way right now.
Yeah.
And Warp Prism, Observer gives vision. We could see a pylon near the main, and he could go for, like, a Warp in with a Sentry Drop.
Yeah.
That's entirely possible. And he's got the Twilight Council behind this, so I do think he's going to try to expand behind this, but it's going to be a little pressure build. There, the Sentries does evade at the last second. Remembers, oh yeah, I should go around that Overlord. Ling's in really, really good positions here, and he's actually going to cut right across the Zelnaga Tower, which just makes that so obvious here.
Yep, and Revival picks up on this. He knows what's happening. We do have Immortals following this, along with a Twilight Council, so we'll see how quickly he wants to try and expand. Zealot running down to the bottom left just to make sure nothing is around to deny any sort of expansion.
Sentry's deploying. Oh, no, just warping in Zealots. He's actually going to go for an attack at the third here. And I did see this attack at IPL 5. I don't recall who it was out of, but wow, the amount of success it didn't have.
Well, he's going to try a two-pronged attack. Unfortunately, this one's getting shut down over at the third, but hopefully that'll buy time for him to get this, get these sentries off. Already starts the force field process. Going to try and warp in a couple more units here in a second. Forces the Queen to move away for the time being. A lot of units were warping in inside of the main, though. That's not enough Zerglings to deal with this quite yet.
Now, I'll tell you what I thought we were going to see here, Kevin, with the Observer. He would have had the ability to warp in from a pylon right now and send his Warp Prism elsewhere to do harass, because he has so many sentries, he can absolutely infinitely force field this ramp. But, well, the Warp Prism does have to stay here for now.
Yeah. And looks like Tyr is actually going to do some pretty significant damage, I have to say. These force fields have continued to be very effective. Zealot's killing quite a bit of stuff, and now we finally have some roaches here to join this, but already, how many workers have fallen? 14, now 15.
And he's got 700 gas behind this, so he can continue to force field this ramp for a very, very long time. Instead, going to load up as he realizes that you have a lot of roaches in your main. This is actually a situation, let's say, I want to actually point this out because this is actually kind of important.
Sure.
The third base. Remember in that first game with Jaedong, and he lost that third in PvC, and I was like, oh, I love when players do the macro hatch at the third because you can lose your third, and you're still not in that bad of a spot. But this is a situation where Revival had his macro hatch in his main, and if he didn't, he may have very well lost his lair, lost everything in here.
Right.
Because he had so much production. So I mean, it just really points to the beauty of StarCraft 2 and how you run into these situations where really nothing is always better than something else.
We have an 8-gate Immortal Sentry all-in following this up, and that's a little rough. Like an Immortal Sentry all-in of this size, really super incredibly powerful about 2 minutes ago.
And that's really bad.
Yeah.
I was just tapping on the glass, guys, putting out the Infestors that are on the way right now, and, well, there are Immortal Sentry all-ins that work against Infestors. They include a certain unit called a Phoenix.
Yes.
If you want to hit
if you want to hit the later one, you prod with the Stargate, you lift Infestors. Great, awesome, wonderful.
That's pretty nice, though.
Oh yeah, killed what, like 5 roaches there?
Supply 93 to 153. He does still have the Warp Prism. Has held on to that, which is, of course, vital to the success of this push.
Right, but that is a pretty scary force from Revival. And
it is a lot of Lings, though. And I think if I'm correct, Tyr, yeah, he has no Zealots at all.
No, that's very unfortunate because any Zealots right now, even just, 5 or 6, would actually make a big difference.
Oh,
Fungal
wow.
Growth on top of a lot of the sentries here. The Lings are actually filtering through the force fields, miss, and the Lings are able to get directly on top of the sentries. Those were awful force fields, unfortunately, from Tyr. And he's going to pay the price for that. Loses one of his Immortals right away. The second and third are going to fall here in just a second. Even though he has a few units left over, at this point you want to have completely crushed your opponent's army and starting to move in for the kill, but that's not going to be the case. And unfortunately for Tyr, that's going to be GG.
There it is. Revival taking a game there, ladies and gentlemen, 4 evil geniuses.
Yeah, and we have a match again. It's 3-4. Revival just one game away from tying things up here in the set.
Hey, I mean, Tier, besides canceling that Nexus, he killed 15 workers. Yeah, it was a good attack, but following that with the Immortal Sentry all in against Infestors, I mean,
yeah,
there's just not too much to be done there.
Hey, we've got a pretty good player coming in next for FXO.
What are you talking about, Kev?
This guy who
he's so good.
Yeah, he's only won IPL 5 and MLG and knocked Hyun off, after a 14-kill streak. Yeah, FXO Leenock coming in next to try and take things home for FXO. We're going to run to a commercial break. When we get back, it's a ZVZ between EG Revival, FXO Leenock.